All right, so that was kind of the bad news for LAFC over the weekend. The good news, I guess, is that they have now officially, it was made official Monday morning, re-signed Carlos Vela. He's 35 years old. He was, of course, out of contract since the end of last season. He signs on a free agent deal, apparently with an option through 2025, which means maybe he could help recruit Antoine Griezmann, should that happen. But Mao, I want to get your perspective on this because you follow LAFC very closely. Yeah. Is this just an emotional move, letting Carlos Vela retire in black and gold, or is this something that you think is really going to make an impact, really going to help this team chase this title? And clearly, Mao, they need help after what we saw this weekend against the Galaxy, and it may not be an attack.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the depth chart, they have a lot of good players from the midfield and attacking areas. So I'm not sure that Carlos Vela would make a sole difference to make LAFC contenders. I think they are already contenders. I just don't know how much more favorite the only presence of Carlos Vela makes them. We don't know in what kind of shape he is. He's not a young guy. He's 35 years old. We don't know how much he has trained. I think there's a double intent with this signing. Yes, to honor the best player in franchise history, but I do believe this has to do with recruiting Antoine Griezmann for next season. I don't want to say I reported because I'm not a reporter, but I heard from someone very well connected at LAFC that the Antoine Griezmann is pretty much a done deal, and that the club actually made an effort to bring Antoine Griezmann before the end of this season. That was not going to happen because he still wanted to play one more year at Atletico de Madrid. But for 2025, it is basically a reality that Antoine Griezmann will play at LAFC. Now, is that the only reason why Carlos Vela is back? No, I also believe that he can make an impact. I don't think it's going to be a big impact or the difference between winning the trophy or not. But I think it's the right move for everybody. The big question mark is his shape, his form, and only one way to find out, and that will be when he's on the field again for LAFC.
Herc?
I mean, if we're sitting here and we're amazed at Messi not having MLS activity for 4 months with Inter Miami and does this after 3 months of being injured, how amazed are we going to be, or what would that say about the level of play if Carlos Vela, who checks notes, last professional game, competitive game, was MLS Cup, December 9th, 10 months ago, and comes in and makes an immediate impact? I'm sorry, but you're right. You talk about that depth that LAFC has, Mao. I'm looking at this depth. I don't know where he's going to play. I mean, Denny Bouanga, Bogusz, Giroud, Kai Kamara, up top, Christian Oliveira, Martinez. You can go anywhere you want. There's a lot of depth. So this is, to me, another stroke of genius by John Thorrington. This is a way I criticize Major League Soccer for not taking care of their players and the little history they do have. Most teams don't cultivate. They don't nurture. And what I mean by that is you go around and you look at the league, and there's not a lot of alumni for Major League Soccer clubs that are still around. And this is a player who is the singular most important piece in LAFC's history. One of the most important signings in the history of MLS. Certainly a historical player when you look at what he did in 2019 and that ridiculous single-season goal-scoring record of 34 goals, 15 assists. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better ambassador club or league. And he's 35 years old, and you can give him the opportunity of bringing him in and having a dignified goodbye in front of your fans. A guy who gave you an MLS Cup, who helped you launch LAFC into a super club in Major League Soccer. And if by that chance you see that he still has something in the tank and he wants to be there for next season, yes, a hell of a bargaining piece or attractive option for Antoine Griezmann to come in and say, there's my Velita, there's my boy, that's my way, I know him. I just think it makes sense. Carlos Vela way. But if we're,
he said it when he won the World Cup.
Yes, but if we're sitting here, and we're trying to make a case for Carlos Vela actually having an impact soon, I think we're asking too much.
You know what I'd say?
Can I ask one quick question? The way I relate it or try to compare it is to the impact that Gareth Bale had when they won MLS Cup. Gareth Bale barely played. He played more golf than soccer when he was in LA. But in the end, he had an impact. Whenever they needed him to give 15, 20, 10 good minutes, he was available. That's the way I feel LAFC might use Carlos Vela the rest of the season.
Exactly, Mao. Exactly. You can never have enough offensive options, guys who can play make off the bench, right? You never know when you're going to get behind in a playoff game, and you need somebody that. Real quickly, who do you guys get a sense right now? Because we just saw El Tráfico, and it's pretty clear to me, at least, that those are the two best teams in the Western Conference. Who do you think, Mao, is coming out of the West? Is it LA Galaxy? Is it LAFC? Or is it somebody from the field?
No, I think it's LAFC. I still like LAFC a lot. The experience counts when you're playing this kind of games. And this is a very experienced roster, very experienced manager. I'm not saying Greg Vanney isn't, but coaching this team, managing this club, I still believe that LAFC are the class of the West.
Herc, you agree?
No. I think that front office has more cojones than the players on the field. I saw a total meltdown by LAFC. That was a lack of heart, and that was all mental. Being up 2-0 against your rivals at their place, you close up shop. You don't let them come back on you like that and shell shock you that way. That was the LA Galaxy putting in a big boy performance and saying, no. You may be here, the new boy in town, but this is still our town. And if I were Steve Cherundolo, if I were John Thornton, I would be very, very nervous about another playoff run because we've seen this team in finals. Do they have the quality? Absolutely. I think they're one of the most talented teams in the whole league. Dangerous on all levels. But up here and right here, they've not proven it.